Hello, this is Gabriel and Icon of the Comfy Global Consulting and International Trade Incorporated, the charity for medical, pharmaceutical, and innovative technology. My name is Gabriel Indicon of the Charity Medical Foundations. Este Gabriel Indicon of the Charity Medical Foundation. Mon nom est Gabriel Indicon de la Charité Médicale et la Fondation Internationale pour l'objectif innovatif en technologie, en pharmacie et section médicale à travers la recherche génétique. Therefore, I would like to introduce today's topics as the tree of knowledge, or the tree of life, also the tree of knowledge. As I was running today, I found out that working hard is not sometimes an easy thing to do, but you just have to do your best, moving forward and onward in that regard. So after running, I went around the trees and I was observing the nature, and I realized that the trees are actually similar to how the universe is made. When I look the picture of the entire universe and I look down and I look from the center out, they are all linked. All the universe are not disconnected. They are all connected into one source, and they all come from one source, spirit each other around with an origination from the concept, from the spiritual, from the power. So the universe are propagating from the center like the trees, like the branches of the trees. That's how they are. That make then the story in the Bible to be true about the tree of life, the tree that possess the knowledge, the infinite knowledge, the higher knowledge. That is the tree that God didn't want Adam and Eve to touch. So I was looking at, I got inspired about it. This is right here. And when you look the picture that was sent from the heaven, you can see how the 8 universe all are connected to one source, to the heaven. They all have their roots to the heaven, and the spirit parallel each other from the heaven out, and representing the branches and life, path and way. That's the truth. So the tree of life is where everything came from, and that's the reason why when they talk about the tree of life, they're talking about the tree that possesses all the knowledge. That's called the tree of knowledge. And why? Because the heavens, the concept, the universe is a massive holographic solitonic system, energy system with immense knowledge out there that can be reached by anyone. That's what it is. So it is very important to know that we're living in a universe that is made as the tree of life and knowledge. Actually, that's what it is. You have to believe that. So when you cut those 3 out there, You are doing something to the universe. It's very normal for God to create the trees and the plant first before us, because it is life. It is what makes Earth what Earth is. You go to many other planets, you don't see things that you see in this Earth. And I do believe that from the creations, Earth didn't have any form. Earth was like the other planets that have nothing on there. I mean, it just mixed with stuff. And God have to choose one planet in the solar system to fulfill his concept, his idea of life. And that's what the Bible say, that Earth didn't have any form. God remodeled, he polished Earth to have life, to contain life, to maintain life, to be a terrain in which human can develop and glorify him. So that's exactly what he did. So if you look at the planet, look closely, from the first planet to the last one, Pluto, you find out that they don't have any concrete form to a concrete and complete structure to give an ability of an organism or living organism to develop and live. So Earth was also like that in that specific time, in that infinite past, when God decided to polish it and to remodel it like it's written in Genesis. So he chose the third planet from the sun. Why? Because 3 is a very powerful number in numerology and creation that represent divinity, that represent God himself. We talk about the Holy Trinity and everything in terms of 3. So he will polish earth. He leveled the water. He leveled the water accordingly. He put in place trees. Why? Because trees will be an enhancer to promote oxygens in air so that people can breathe it. That's what he did. So he put trees there, and what happened is the trees will have the faculty of releasing oxygens and recycle the air in the atmosphere and consume the carbon dioxide that are released in order for them to proceed with the photosynthesis, what you guys call here the biosynthesis. So whether they use all of it, the plant don't actually use 100% of the carbon dioxide they capture from the atmosphere. They use about 20%, and 80% is saved into the trees. So when you cut the trees, what happens is that the carbon dioxide saved there gonna have to be gonna dissipate in the air and pollute the air as well. So that's what it is. So they call it, like when you cut the trees, you cause deforestation. That means you lead to deforestation, you promote deforestation, and as well as degradation. So because you also increase the amount of carbon into the atmosphere. So it's very important. So that's why God created the plant, the trees before us, just to make sure. He created water, make sure the water is good, because water is important to develop organisms. Trees are important to keep the atmosphere recycle, as well as produce nutrition for people to eat. It produces nutrition not only for men but also for animals. So that's what it is. And the plants have a lot of minerals that are important to neutralize the acid that are in our body. Most of the plants are alkaline in pH. Okay, our DNA, the two strands, are alkaline by default, not acidic, but alkaline. So the body functions more in an alkaline phase than an acidic phase. It is all normal. It makes sense. Why? Because anything that is acid, what do that do? It will fry anything. It will cause oxidations. So God will build this biocomputer, which is our genomes, the human genomes, the higher organisms, the higher solitonic and holographic biosystem. He knew that making the pH of the blood in an alkaline phase, as well as the DNAs, it is the best state for the human body to develop, to be alive. When you die, you have a range of your pH, the pH of your blood. It is between 648 and 748. If your pH of the blood is less than 748, you will die. It means that your body, your blood is completely acidic. You fry out. And if it's also too much basic, it means alkaline, you also gonna die. So pretty much when you die, that's where your pH will be out of that interval. So if you have a pH, blood pH, which is about 748.48, you must have a complementary alkaline pH that will lead in addition to 14. So if you have 748, you have about 0.2, that's 50, like 0.52. So you must have about 752 alkaline solution to bring it, to neutralize it, because the addition above must give you a 14s. That's exactly what it is. So when you eat those plants bring into your body those alkaline pH that will neutralize the acid that you eat from the food that you consume. So God knew that. He knew all of that. So he created those plants there to recycle the air, consume the CO2, and release the O2 by biosynthesis. They call photosynthesis because they're using photons. So those photons come from where? Those photons come from the energy, the solar energy. All right. So the solar energy itself must be contained and controlled. So the solar energy is composed of oxygen, nitrogens, carbon dioxide, and any other atomic compound. So those are what we call the air. Okay, the air is composed of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and many other atomic compounds. Okay, so when the sun releases that energy come into Earth in a form of photons. Those photons contained, I'll keep talking about why God created the plant, because the topic of my presentation is the tree of life, and I'll come to it. So when the sun releases this energy come on Earth in the form of photons. What are those photons? Those photons are light forms that contain morphogenetics or genetic metabolic data informations that will be captured by the surface of the leaf of the plant. And when it captures it, what it does is save it into a mechanism, a photosynthesis mechanism. It transforms it into an energy that will permit him to synthesize new plants. That's what it is. By also using the mineral that come from the ground. So the sun and the mineral that come from the ground all together allow the trees to produce the leaf that you see coming out right now during the summer because of the sun. So both have to be there, the sun and the water. That's why the tree start coming back during the spring, because during the spring you have the sun and you have the water. That water that came from the winter is still there. And then during the spring you have the sun and a little bit of rain, and the sun, a little bit of rain, and that combination is what bring the leaf of the tree to come back out, because he used those photons as well as the minerals to photosynthesize new leaf. And during the fall you don't have too much sun most of the time, and you don't have too much rain most of the time, and you start seeing them falling down. But you see the tree still intact. Why? Because the mineral, the water, is in the ground with all the mineral, potassium, all of those that you know. It is what keep the plant still during the fall. So now when the animal eat the trees, the herbs, the animal consume those photons with the metabolics and genetic metabolic or morphogenetics data informations in a certain permissive version, because when God created the plant, he already put the code that have a permissive version. It means that when you consume it, you'll be healthy, because the information is already a healthy energy informations. That's what it is. So you have that there in the plants. You have that there in the plant. So the animal ate it. When the animal ate it, the animal have that morphogenics data information in his body. So when you go and purchase a chicken, or you purchase a beef or fish, you are also eating that morphogenic data information that were already consumed indirectly. You're eating that indirectly from what you're consuming. That's why you have to eat fresh food, because food that are processed are food that also contain some chemical on it, and chemical on what is natural will change the molecular structure and also influence and also damage a little bit the morphogenic data information that is initially there in the photon form. And that's where you start developing disease, because the information that is feed into your DNA for the codes of healthy or non-healthy code are not correct, because you have some infections into the morphogenic informations that will disturb the program code. So God made it. He knew what he was doing with all the programations. So in the meantime, you also have to make sure that you maintain the solar energy level into its normality. That's what you call global warming. Global warming is pretty much what you call an increase of the solar energy that is keep within the Earth system. And that appears when one of the atomic compound exceed the normality on how God made it. I mean, if you have the carbon dioxide, which is the deal, because the carbon dioxide is the deal, nitrogen is not really the problem, oxygen is not really the problems. If Earth is saturated by oxygen, it will be very good. Not good for the plants, because the plant need carbon dioxide to, to survive. But the balance. The way that you want oxygen to survive, when they cut it off, is the same way the plant need carbon dioxide. That's the way it is. So God, it was not a mistake. So you have about 269 gigatons of carbon dioxide that is permitted and to be put in balance to make this earth healthy. Any increase into that amount will increase the climate around the world. And the climate increase around the world will generate disease, will cause disease, will lead into disease. Because 2% of 2 degree increase in the temperature can create the rise of certain virus, of certain bacteria, certain disease, of certain form of temporary allergy. Now, God also made it that way because the movement of revolutions of Earth truly depend on certain balance, such as the climate. Because you have the movement of revolution, of rotations, which is 24 hours, and the movement of revolution, which is 1 day around the sun. I mean, caused by the movement of rotations. So an increase on the solar energy will actually influence the movement of revolutions. And that's the reason why you have sometimes disturbance into climate. Like at this moment, you see you have an extended spring in the United States. So the spring take up about a month of the summer. It's actually going away a little bit, but it's still there. Why? It's because in a region, the movement of revolution has been impacted by global warming. Those are the effects of global warming. You're talking about dryness, flood, irregular odds. Those are odds, unexpected stuff. You're going to have irregular climate, dryness, flood, drought, melting ice in Antarctic and Arctic, and increased level of the ocean and river because of the melting ice in Antarctic and Arctic, and ocean oxidation as well. And ocean oxidation will bring impurity into the living organisms and life into the water that we consume and we eat, the product of the water. the fish, and any other marital organisms and living organism. So it does affect our health as well. So it is the reason why God made sure that he fixed the ocean, the water, and after the water, he fixed the trees. He planted the trees all over the place to make sure that it is balanced, to make sure that the house, the earth, is prepared to host life. And he put the animal first before even us. So he wanted to make sure that everything was ready to go before we can come, the way I've explained. So when you eat the fruits, when you eat the vegetable, the herbs, the enzymes, you're consuming those photons with that morphogenic and metabolic, genetic, metabolic, or morphogenetic data information in a permissive versions, the way that God already coded it. So when you eat the fruits, the pineapple, it does have those photon on it, captured from the suns. Don't only see the star. The star were not made by mistake. The star have that energy, those photons. The sun is the reason why every system is made out of stars. It is the reason why the heaven do not look truly on planets. They are focused. When they wanted to identify where you live, they don't identify Earth because they cannot see Earth. Truly, I mean, they see Earth, but that's not how they look at it. They look your star to localize you, because your star is what is truly connected into the overall system of the universe. It is what gives life. It is what sustains all the planet, because all the planet turn around it in that system. And it provides those photons, that energy that is needed. So when you eat, you have those photons that feed your DNA with those permissive versions, information, data. What does that do? A series of sequence that God already made, created. A series of sequence of information and data that come from photon to photon in an energy level that feed your DNA. And that's how you're healthy. So when you eat things that taste good in your tongue, most of the time those things get, after the metabolic and catabolic process, talking about metabolism and catabolisms, the catabolism process is part of the metabolic process. Metabolism process is term of breaking the initial product down before it go into your stomach and stuff. So now it feed your DNA with that information. That information is transferred into the energy format, and what happens is that the endogenous DNA laser radiations, which is like the converting biocomputer in your system, receive that photons and convert that photon into radio and light frequency. And what it does, it feeds it like music, like it's talking. Because when something is converted into radio and light, it means that he's talking. You're going to hear a sound. So it's talking into your DNA, your material DNA, and tell your material DNA what kind of position the sequence have to be so that you can be healthy. Sometimes you're unhealthy depending on what you're eating. That's pretty much what it is. Now, after it's done, After it's done, what happened is, as God knew it, he already knew it. Your endogenous, mean internal DNA laser radiation, which is the bioprocess computer of your genomes, of your genetics, exchange that information with what? With your meta-DNA. So it's telling your meta-DNA, this is how the body is feeling right now. So what it does, from the photon number 1 of the energy level of the material DNA, which is in the three-dimensional shape. I was doing some research on that most recently. So it send it. If you receive information from photon 1, you're going to use photon number 2 of the energy level of the material DNA and send it into photon number 2 of the energy level of the meta-DNA. And that's how God is informed about your body. Because your meta-DNA is linked into the universal energy of that cylinder of light, the heaven portal, the holographic and solitonic energy system of the universe that is connected into the heavens, and it flow. And they know exactly what's going on there because they are the metadata. When the information comes from the meta-DNA, which is composed of the G and D particles, it's very complex. It's a different kind of study. Now, the information comes there when it comes from one of the photons. If the photon is photon number 3, your energy level of your material DNA would download that information. Download, why? Because the space of the meta-DNA is higher than the space of the material DNA. So you will download that. You download something from a higher space to a small space. And you upload something from a small space into a higher space. So when the meta-DNA get informations from the material DNA, it upload that information. That's what it is. So both DNA exchange information, and God knew it. So if you read my genetic research project, and I said, complex matter derived from sequence specificity informations, and I also concluded that evolution is part of creation. It means when the project started, we were not looking like this, what they call archaic human being. The project was to lead into us, into the perfect being. It was a project in which God knew that through the feeding of informations and through mutations and time, the morphogenics and morphology of the humans will change over time and reach a certain complexity that is perfect for the soul to live into and commensurate with the G and D particles of God itself. Accordingly, that is where Adam come in place. Because when Adam was born, he was the perfect creation that God was looking for. He possesses the perfect genome, human genome, that God was looking for. And that's where it started. People are going to come and say, I will ask them, why do God didn't start before Adam? They will say, how do you know? There's no scripture, there's nothing talking about God on earth before Adam, but we know that God was there. But what I'm talking about is that God have not dealt with any human being before Adam. That proves my point. If you know any other human being that God have dealt with before Adam and Eve, you come and tell me. And there's not. Everybody goes who believe in God will always start with Adam. In the creation process is different. God created man and woman. We know it's created. But the way it was done, the Bible is the summary and the foundation. The Bible is the guide. You have to know that. The Bible is the guide. The Bible is your map. Okay? It's your map. When you have the map, you cannot see every single detail like when you're driving. Alright? So the map is pretty much like the summary of what you're looking for. And the Holy Spirit is your guide, is your GPS. And God and Jesus Christ are your companion, invisible one. Right? So the Bible is telling you God created from the dust. The form was made. Creation was put in place to reach a certain complexity, and to reach that complexity to reach into man. So men can look the way they look today. But it came from different complexity. You have archaic Africans, you have archaic Europeans, they have names, you have archaic Asians. Those are the three principles. You also have archaic South Americans. North America was not populated. It was them empty. It was empty. Where we live today, it was not. South America, they were. What happened is with America, that we are today, these nations, the first people who came here, they came from Siberia. And where do those Siberians come from? Those Siberians come from the mixture between the primer and modern African that migrate there, primer and moderns European that they call archaic, and the archaic Asians. That interbreeding is what lead into the Siberian formations. Genealogy. Those are them. See all the people in Asia. They come from that interbreeding. So those Siberians are the one who move, who migrate, and end up in North America, coming from Russia, went up into Canada and down there. And in time, you have those Siberians who interbreeded with other race to create the native Indians. So you have people who have existed 338,000 years ago. But they're talking about Adam and Eve around 3000 and something BC. It's to tell you, the process was too long to reach their final products. Human being was a divine project. Divine project to reach perfections The way we are not perfect, but perfection in terms of being called a human being. Because being called a human being is said, you are the higher genome. You are the higher species. A species is a living beings that have a specific genome sequence. That's what it is. A specific genome sequence. People can look alike but are different genome, are different species because of the genome differentiations. So inside the genome, that's where you start talking about genetics, when you start looking the genes that have data information on how to make proteins, because that's what it is. Now I would like to say to people that there will be a day when God gonna invite you to visit hell. And when you go to hell, you're gonna find out that Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach Sikano, is the individual that possesses the key to hell. He possesses the key to hell. He possessed the key to hell. There is no other owner of that place. You will see a lot of liars, a lot of fakers, people who have lived their life in darkness to look good into this earth, who are over there begging Jesus Christ to have mercy on them. You have to know, if you can only know that you have one person over there, they are begging for you to pray for them in the name of Jesus Christ, so that their sorrow of fire can be reduced, because they didn't have the opportunity to do that when they were here. I mean, they had the opportunity to do that, but they didn't do it. That's why they end up in that place in the first place. So it is better to always pray for a person who have passed away, because you don't know when that person is suffering over there. You don't know if that person is in hell or heaven, but you waste nothing. But you pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the one that will reduce the sorrow. He controls hell. He have the keys. What people don't know the truth. Let me tell you the truth. I just tell you that I started by saying the universe is the tree of life in its structural form. And everything in Genesis refers to a tree. That tree was the tree of life, the tree of knowledge. It was the knowledge of God Himself. That tree only exists in heaven, but that is the way the heaven is made. When you look at the structure of heaven, so the architecture of heavens, you see that it is like a tree that have branches that spread around each other. to form the universe. Those are the universe, small universe that form the whole universe. And every single universe have billions of galaxies. And every single galaxy have billions and billions of stars. So that tree was a tree of life, and Jesus Christ came to replace that tree. So Jesus Christ is the truth. He is the justifications. He's the justifications of the truth, of the existence of God. That's what it is. And when you see how the light propagates from the center and expand, it propagates in a cross fashion, in a form, in its dissipation format of propagations. So that's how that light propagates around Earth. So it comes out as in the form of a cross as it propagates and expands around the whole universe from the center. So the tree that we're talking about, the Garden of Eden, was the tree that was able to lead Adam and Eve into heaven itself using positive thought. But if you have negative thought, you're going to end up in a tree of darkness. The tree of life is pure. It's a tree of good. That's why everything came from. Everything you see on earth. But the tree of darkness is distractions. So it is the reason why the truth, the way, and the life is Jesus Christ that God have used. And he died into a tree in the form of a cross. And that's why he became the justifications of the truth. That's why he said to people, I am the truth. That's what he meant. And he said, I am the way. Because that is how the universe is made. And I am the life, because he's the tree of life. He represented that. But when you ask him, what is the truth? He look up. Because why? The heaven is higher, even if it's in the center. It's always higher. It's not because it's in earth. But when you go out of earth, earth is a planet that is suspended into the universe, the dark universe. So we are suspended in an empty space. So the heaven is always up. All the universe. It will always be up. Any universe you're gonna go, the heaven's always gonna be up. Because it is in the center in which everything derives from. That is why the truth is that he possessed the key. God gave him the key of hell. He opened doors, he closed doors. He opened door, he closed door. He allowed who to go out, who to come in. Lucifer don't have the key of hell. And some people think he does. He does not have the key. He is a tenant over there. But he come on here on earth with lies and lie to us because he using the system that God put in place, that no man will be told the truth until he learn himself the truth. And learning itself the truth will only come from pain and difficulties. So that's what Lucifer is using, because God say, I am the divine God. I am the divine God. I know what I created is good. So they're going to have to prove themselves. And he's using it, Lucifer using it to do his bad work. That we have to learn. Like those before us who came and made mistake. We have to learn into difficulties and challenge. And we fell down, we come back up, we fell down, we come back up, and we learn from it. There's no human being who's gonna live all his life and end up and say, I never make mistake. All of it. Even after everybody else has made mistake before. Even after that, people still make mistake and mistake over mistake over mistake, all over. So what that tells us is that no perfections. And that's how God wants us to actually go, to reach the perfection he wants us to be. Because without mistake, you can't learn in a human form. Why? Because you don't have access into the infinite knowledge. The spirit does. The spirit does. But the material, the physical form, the human being can't, but it will require a lot of sanctifications. You're going to have to be reborn again to reach the spiritual level, to know what is what, and to have access into the infinite intelligence, the infinite knowledge. But it can only be done through what? Through sanctifications. It means denying self and accepting and prioritizing spirit. That's what it is. So the Bible become your map, the Holy Spirit your guide, your GPS, and God, Jesus Christ, your companion. But how many people believe that God truly exists? Some people say God should have mercy on me because maybe the suffering that I'm going through. But you believe that God really cares about the suffering I'm going through? Truly? If I don't understand the reason behind it, if I don't understand the true purpose behind it, He is more concerned about the transformation from within. That will bring glory into His name. Not the material stuff, not the suffering that you're going through. The suffering that you're going through is temporary. Even if you it will last. It will last into when? Not to infinity. Because you have a certain life expectancy on earth. So everything have a time. So that's the reason why God is not concerned at all about the material thing. He's more concerned about the spiritual thing. You know, in His dimension, in His level. Why do you want to be concerned about things that will not last long? You ask question. You see everything. You see things that we don't see. We see 60 years like too much, like, oh, I'm here enough forever. When 6 years come through, we're like, oh, I still need more time, God. Please give me more time. And he said, no, I still have time. 30 years come, 90 years, I start, you start asking God to give you more time. So time go fast. In the eyes of God, He does not see the material thing as too much important, because they are temporarily in His eyes. They are glimpses. They are just glimpses. You're a glimpse. They will come, you will suffer, and they will go. But the spiritual will stay forever. So why do God will cross you to come and have a benefit and have a glorifying life, a lavish life in the spiritual realm, when you have access to the knowledge, infinite wealth, where you have the capability of transforming what is energy into material, because everything you see here is all energy that comes from the spiritual realm, the money, all of that. Why you think that Lucifer have the money is because he have access to that knowledge that God gave him. God didn't take it away. Transforming the energy money into material money. You can control all this stuff. You give me a reason why God could trust you if you have not proven Him in the flesh. He will not trust you. Certainly, you know that. No, you know that He will not trust you. So stop faking yourself. You need to stop faking yourself and start accepting that you don't know God. If you're saying that God need to have mercy on me because of the physical suffering, it means you don't know God. Do I suffer more than Jesus Christ? I don't believe so. So who is Jesus Christ? The Son of Man and the Son of God. So who I am, who I'm not even proven yet to say that I suffer, and to say that I'm not God because I'm suffering. No, you don't know Him. Maybe some people are sometimes confused. They say, well, if God was exactly like that, suffer, why do other people have easier life? Well, let me answer your question. So when Jesus Christ that you praying every night was alive, was He living in an archaic world, a world where everybody didn't have nothing? If you answer that question right, you will have your answer. Jesus Christ came in this earth, God in flesh. There were road, there were power, there were money. Everything that you see here was happening there, but in a different level, with different technology. There were politics, economic problems, interrelationship problems, between countries. Everything. It used to be that. Political conflict, people running away, refugee, every kind of stuff. He lived in that time. People were wealthy. And they didn't care. They were careless. So you tell me why God didn't give Jesus Christ the wealth, all that. Because it is not a concern. They are all vanity. In the flesh, they are all vanity. What do Jesus Christ, some people say Jesus Christ came. What did Jesus Christ when he came back and said, now I have the power, let me go back, let me go against those who crucify me? He was very cool. He didn't even talk about them when he was with the apostle. He was talking about the mission he wanted them to do. There's nowhere he referred to, oh, those people who hurt me, they really hurt me so bad. You don't want to see that verse, something like that in the Bible. He didn't even talk about that. Why? People never ask that question because when he went to heaven, they show him the truth. They show him from the time he was crucified into the end of the second return. So he knew how everything gonna end. So he didn't have time for the present people. He knew how everything gonna end. You know, when they show him, this is how it's gonna end. This is the generations. So you tell me, if you know you have access to the truth, you know how things gonna end. Why are you gonna waste your time with people who are playing, like Emperor Augustus said? I mean, did I play my role well in this comedy called life? People who are playing the role. But why are you gonna waste your time? The tape is rolling and everybody come play his role and leave. Another person come play his role and leave. The tape is rolling. Who's the master trade behind the scenes? God. So Jesus Christ didn't have the time for revenge, and people are gonna have to revenge. So it's very important that as human beings we live a life of compassion and love. As the living being, you must have compassion for other people. You got people over there crying, Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, please. Jesus Christ say, did I know you? Did I know you on earth? Your mom, go and pray for my family. They didn't know me when I was on earth. I was worshiping the devil, and then now I'm here. I came out good in front of people, talking well. Yeah. And Jesus Christ will say to you, you earned the thing of earth and rejected the thing of the heavens. So this is what you earn, the earth thing, where you are. You made a choice. This is not going after people who are wealthy or not. God is not against becoming wealthy. Actually, God wants everybody to be wealthy. Why? Let me tell you why. Because in heaven, everybody is wealthy. Everybody is wealthy, except those who are saved by grace. Truly grace. True grace. It means that Jesus Christ has to plead for them so hard in the throne of God. Those who are living in community houses. I mean, those that have done something that made a differentiation of whether they have to go to hell or heaven. Maybe a last minute thing So those, and they take it, they say it's better than hell. They're even very happy if they end up there, because they live in community house that are big, and God is saying, you live in the earth. That's what you wanted. You want everything for you, nothing for other people. You came out to conquer the world, and you rejected who I was. And this is what you have for eternity. Will you share 60 years or 70 years or 90 years on earth for eternity? That God is telling you that I just want you to suffer for a finite time, so that you can have an infinite time of lavish life in heavens. Do you really think that we have it all here on earth? Truly? In the beginning, it was nothing. After what? God comes the concept. The concept is the spiritual. The power called the concept, the heavens. Everything came from the heavens, the spiritual. There's nothing that you see here that God created out of the blue. He created something that already existed as a prototype. But you can only create a prototype from an original. So we don't have the original of life here. The original of life is in heaven. You want to taste the good food in heaven, because that's where it comes from. You want to taste a good fish, is in heaven, because that's where it comes from. You want to see true beauty people in heaven, you see them there. You want to see people who are truly healthy in heaven, you see them there. You want to see high advanced technology, you see that over there. You want to see true money, you see that over there. And that's what it is. So you wanted to exchange your 60 years here on earth. You say, I wanted to live well here on earth so I can be inspired by people and be seen by people. 60 years, 70 years, you conquer earth to lose your soul into hell. Compare to eternity into heaven. This is not a game. Let me tell you, there's no one who have followed God who end up poor on earth. Abraham died a wealthy man. Okay. Joseph of Egypt, a wealthy man. David, a wealthy man. Moses he died a wealthy man through suffering. So all of them went to suffering, extreme suffering. To become wealthy in a materialistic world, after enriching themselves spiritually, because that's the main way, the main thing that God wants to achieve first on us, before we can start having the benefit of it, of the material thing. So I really need this person. I really need this person in heaven. So he have to be saved first, and then he will have those things. And the generation will follow after it, because of my plans that I have for those generations. So will you exchange a 60-year of good life year being part of the system people are talking about? You don't go against the system. I'll go against what? The Illuminati system. Let me tell you, you go to hell, you're going to see a lot of people that used to be the master, the top level of that Illuminati, whatever system it is. You see them over there. They're begging for Jesus Christ's mercy. You have to dance with the devil, but you have to recognize who is the true master of this universe. It's Adonai Elohim Elion Yahweh and Adonai Yeshua HaMashiach Shikanu. They are the truth, the true thing. Okay? Know this thing that people are telling you. They come in front of you, they're talking good. You are there listening to what they're telling you, all bunch of liars. They come in front of you. They seem well because they are elected official or whatever it is. But you do not know where their heart is. Who is the true God, the God that is serving? No, we are looking today and looking people for what they possess and assume that they are with God. Your material possession of your life, all your life, do not automatically assume that you are with God. It's not because you are too poor that you believe that God is with you because you're poor. There's no correlation like that. What makes you be with God is the state of your heart. If you have compassion for other people, either you're poor. If you're poor, you have to love other people, even if they are succeeding more than you. It is painful for the flesh. How can you be poor and then you see God come in front of you and say, I want you to be happy for other people blessing? And it makes sense. Why? Because if you're not, you're against other people blessing, you're against God's will. Because God is the one who blessed those people to have what they have. In order for you to be blessed. Do not because you're poor that you believe that God is with me because I'm poor. No. If you're thinking like that, I'm sorry. God is with everyone, even the wealthy. That's not the point. The point is where your heart is where God is. You can be poor and have dark heart. God will not be with you. I'm sorry to tell you that. You are poor with compassion and good heart. God is there. It's not because you are rich that God is not with you. There's no such thing like that. Some people think so. It is where your heart is that where God is. You can be a rich person and you have a heart of compassion that commensurate with God principle standards, and God will be with you. If you have a heart that is full of darkness, God will not be with you, even if you're wealthy. So I have nothing to do with if you're poor or rich. You have to do with the state of your heart, the love you have for other people. It is about building a personal relationship with God. It's not about religion. It's not about position. It's not about who I am. It's about building a personal relationship with the divine God. Everything was about it. From Adam and Eve, it was personal relationship. Personal relationship. Personal relationship. And I believe that people must focus on it. Beside religions that bring people together, the one unifier is God, and people must build a personal relationship with God. You can put religions, you can put groups, you can put fraternity, you can put a sect, all of this stuff. If God is not part of that in every single one of the individual forming those groups, forget about it. You are wasting your time. You see a bunch of people going somewhere praying about an individual that none of them know. You tell me, are they playing a comedy or something like that? You see people going and meet somewhere and none of them have a proper and good relationship with the person that they're praying for. And they're using the title of the religions to believe that he's there. No, Lucifer is also part of religion now. You have to build a personal relationship with God to guarantee your path into heavens. It is the only way. It is the only way. No religions, no money, no groups, no fraternity will bring you into heaven. Trust me. That's a waste of time. Personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. You have to build that personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. It means that you have to wear Jesus Christ's heart. You have to love your neighbor. You have to love other people's progress and success, even if you don't like them. It does not mean that you have to be friends with them. But if you love them in your heart, that's what God wants to see. Sometimes God knows that you don't want to love everyone, but there are people out there who want to hurt you. But God still wants you to love them. But God also tells you, love them, but distance yourself from them. You just love them. That's all. Because there are people who are just sick in the mind. They just want to hurt somebody. Well, what can you do? We do to do something about this, you know? We have to do some conspiracy to do something. No, you cannot change those kind of folks. The only thing you can do is to pray for them, and hopefully they can accept the light. Hopefully, because God don't come in front of them and say, I am God. Knock, knock, knock. Open your door. I am God. You got to change your heart now. Everybody going to do that very quick. Right? But if you hear something inside of you saying, be good. Oh, what the heck is talking to me? You know? Who's talking to me? Be good to whom? To him? I'm better than him. And that's who we are. But actually, you don't know that was God talking to you. I would just imagine I being God and not talking to people that I created and telling me like that. I'd be very upset. That's how good God, good God is. You imagine we all have our transgression all over. Every single individual living this earth have transgressed against God. Man, but the do is still there, very calm. He's not manifesting. He's not coming and saying, it's time, I'm going to take your life now. You got to get out of my earth. No, he's not saying that. He's like, all right, no problem. I'm waiting for you in the corner. When you go, and then you bump your head, and then you start looking around, and now you start looking for God voice. Start searching it. When problems start coming, that's what it is. And then now the Holy Spirit have to sanctify you. You start going into painful situation, and the transformation starts. So love is very important. The tree of life, the tree of knowledge, is to Jesus Christ. If you believe you're a Muslim, you believe into God, you believe in God of Abraham, the God of Ishmael, and the God of Jesus Christ, the God of Moses, the God of David. You know, that's the true God. We're gonna talk about Lucifer, on this religion, on that religion. Lucifer is in all the religions, because he's called Satan, the opponent of God. I mean, he's everywhere where God goes. If God chooses you today, any neighbors and anyone, Lucifer will be your opponent, number one. You will have all the problems like Job has in the past. Hopefully you survive from it. He's gonna come after you. So you have to pray that God don't really choose you for any mission too much important. You're gonna see all kind of struggle in this earth, because Lucifer gonna come after you with all the anger, all the rage. The point that you guys don't know is that he hate God so much that he put pain on human being to hurt God, because he knows that God live in us. The Spirit of God live in us. So by hurting us, he hurt the spirit as well, because our spirit is connected into our soul, to our body. He live in there. So when he heard it, he's happy because he's hurting God. And that's what they think. But he's truly hurting him. But it's not really hurting. I mean, it doesn't really feel nothing. When I say hurting, I mean disturbing him in his plans. People are gonna say, how do that? Well, let's say God never wanted this in the first place. Answer to your question, he never wanted this. But he have to deal with this because of his divinity, of his purity, of his highness. He have to deal with this and maintain it. We have to pay the consequences of suffering. So the divinity of God have to be maintained and glorified. And Lucifer just hate him, so he came after us. Because God live within us, every single one of us. But if we accept evil thing inside of us, we are discarding God away from us, because God is pure. He cannot stay where darkness is. So we are discarding God away from us. That's why, and then what happens is we are accepting evil, Lucifer, in us, and we start doing evil things. Anyone who have God in him would not do the stuff, would not put poison in people's food, would not gossip about anyone, will not take somebody wife, will not lie about someone, will not steal, will not murder, will not commit adultery. Anyone will not have false witnesses against a person, another person. That is a person who have God's spirit intact and good relationship with God within. But a person who have discarded God with his dark heart will start doing those stuff. He will start killing, he will start lying, he will start committing adultery, he will start gossiping, you know, putting place and false witnesses and all this stuff. And lies all over the place. That's the difference. The reason why Lucifer hates us is here on this earth is because God created us and God said, my spirit will going to live within those individuals. And he asked the angel to serve us. And that's the problems. Why we going to serve you in heaven, and we also going to serve you in that little place called earth, in the entire universe, us the angels? It didn't sound well. Into the 1/3 that is in hell, that are demon today. So that's what it is. It's like God is telling you, I would like you as my servant to go in hospital and serve people with disability or people with some physical problems, because that's what you are as an angel. The angel is superior to us. We are handicapped compared to angels. We are handicapped compared to angels. We need their service. We need their help. Like people with certain physical disability need our help. Don't judge Lucifer so quickly. Be very careful. If God come today and ask you, you are the leader of a nation, you have a position where you make $1 million. God come and said, I am God, Elohim Yahweh, who created you. I would like you to serve these people and leave your position of $1 million and go in that hospital over there, and I want you to bath those people, wash them, put them to bed every single day for 1 year. You tell me if you don't gonna act like Lucifer did. Don't be so quick of judging. Just listen to what I'm just saying and think about it. It's not too easy like you think, don't you? Because people will come and start talking stuff. I don't support Lucifer, but I am a critical thinker and philosopher. And I have the Holy Spirit with me as well. That's who God is. So he taught Lucifer from the highest of the highest that he gave him and said, I want you to do that little task. So you there in those offices, you have the position. God will come and say, I want you to go and bath those people. Wash them, wash their clothes, mop their floor. You do that for me for 1 year. I think you're going to look God and say, maybe you're crazy. It is so easy. You're going to do that for one day. The second day, you start counting 365 days. You start becoming good. And God is telling you, you have another 9 years. I believe that you might become a friend with Lucifer. It's not easy. Because that's what God asks for people most of the time. That's why He asks for the 1/3 that the demon today in hell. No, for all the angels, including those 1/3. For the angel, we are handicapped. We need their help. We need their help. We are handicapped. All human beings, compared to angel, we are handicapped. Spiritually, we need their help. That's what it is. Maybe you just don't know it. All our problems we have are all spiritual. And we are not spiritual. So we need people who are spiritual to help us. So without further ado, I would like to conclude this presentation, and I wish that many people have followed this with peace and compassion and forgiveness. If you cannot forgive a person, do not expect God to forgive you. And forgiveness do not come without painful times. You're going to have to give your right to punish another person. And that do not reason well with the flesh. You have to keep it in mind that forgiveness will always come with pain within. But if you don't forgive, don't expect God to forgive you. It is not negotiable. Do not even think about it and start doing analytical review and discussion. It's not negotiable. Forgive and you will be forgiven from above. You do not forgive, you will not be forgiven from above. Simple statement, non-negotiable. That's what it is. And forgiveness is painful. Because when Jesus Christ said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. You think that it was just, his bones were broken in pain. He was feeling it. He was feeling it very well. Like somebody say, I'm feeling it. When you drink some wine and champagne and you there with the woman around and life is beautiful and all this stuff, caviar, you the top of the world, and you start talking about how you love God. The position of Jesus Christ, and God is asking you to say, forgive them, they don't know what they do. It's not so easy, isn't it? It's not easy for the flesh. Things are so difficult for the flesh. I just don't know how God made this organism. But for the spirit, it's very simple. So let's pray in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach Shikano, who is here with me. The Holy Spirit is always here as the higher level intelligence to see if things are going well, and monitoring the neighbors and the environments. In the name of the highest of the higher, Adonai El Elyon Elohim Yahweh, in the name of Yoshua, Adonai Yoshua HaMashiach Shikanu, Kakum Shamahim, Tayod Hashe, Shalom, Adonai, Elohim Yahweh. Pray for peace and that people should fulfill their heart with forgiveness and knowing that everything we have in this earth is nothing compared into the heaven in which it came. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness important to move forward and know that there's only one God who controls all the universe. And you must pray in his name. Even though that we acknowledge the existence of Lucifer on earth that we cannot eradicate except God himself, we must always be aware to follow God's guidance first before we can deal with Lucifer, as a form of respect to his position in this earth as well. He is here. There's nothing we can do other than believing into the word of God through faith. Thank you very much. You can reach me on my website at www.njohmadefoundit.org, or you can also hit me on social network, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and YouTube, Gmails, Instagrams, and other platforms, social network platform that you know. Thank you very much. Auf Wiedersehen, muchacho, au revoir, et à bientôt.